Today is the day where I unlock my T10 Frigate, and I'm going to spin the Syracuse Lucky Wheel. Let's freaking go. Hello, my friends, and welcome back. I'm Chisgule Gaming, and recently I reached the promised land of Command Center 30. So in this video, sponsored by the makers of Infinite Galaxy, I am finally going to unlock my very first T10 fighting unit in the Research Center, not the Crew Center, and I am so freaking hyped. Now, the reason that I'm going to speed this up, even though I'm not in the middle of an event that would give me extra rewards for using speed ups, is that right now I'm training T9 troops. And what are those going to be worth to me? Warships, right? What are those T9 warships going to be worth to me? Nothing once I have T10s, I assume. What am I going to do with T9s? I have no freaking clue. Unless they add some way to upgrade lower tiers of warships to higher tiers of warships, which I think will be very cool, I got nothing to do with these T9s anymore. So the reason that I'm using my speed ups now, instead of waiting 3 or 4 days for the Galaxy Star to come around, is that by doing so, I get 3 or 4 extra days of passive training of T10s instead of irrelevant T9s. It's kind of like getting speed ups on T10s, if that makes any sense at all. It's not exactly like that, but it kind of is. My speed ups are doing double duty because instead of getting more worthless T9s, I'm going to get a bunch of T10s instead over the course of the 4 days I would have waited to do all of this during the Galaxy Star. So one micro optimization after another. We're making our way to galactic dominance. Okay, so joking aside, I'm going to just smash the button now and get the job done. 6 days of speed ups, which presumably I have. I guess I should have looked at that first. Yes, oh yes, I most certainly do. Because for the most part, I haven't been speeding up research because, I don't have the resources to just bang out all the research, which I'm going to talk about that when I'm spinning the Wheel of Fortune a little bit later about how OP farm accounts are in this game. It's absolutely disgusting. But that, my friends, is the unlock of the T10s. Let's freaking go. And if I switch my crew to be my troop training or warship building crew, I can speed up these T9 destroyers. And by the way, as soon as I realized, you know what, I'm going to be making T10 frigates, I kind of pumped the brakes on the production of T9 frigates and switched to other unit types. So that's why I've got these cruisers cooking up, because I am actually not going to rush to unlock all the other T10 unit types. I know that sounds crazy, but bear with me for a second. The reason I'm not going to rush to do that is because I don't have the resources to build warships of all those different types. I am going to get to one really good fleet with T10s with a lot of backup T10s so that I can play the Galaxy Summit and have all the T10 frigates I need to just crush with that one fleet. Which means, yeah, if I don't have the resources, I can't go speeding up really, really expensive research for other warship types. So I'm going to now pop open some resource tokens. You can see, like, it's not like I've got resources, but I'm not exactly swimming in them. And at some point, this I will do during a Galaxy Star event, is to go and speed up all the new T10s that I'm going to make to get that fleet together as fast as I possibly can. But for now, we're queuing up our very first T10 frigates. Let's freaking go, baby. Whew, feels good, man. Now, when it comes to other priorities that I have, as I mentioned, the research for the other military tech that I'm going to need is very expensive. And although I have plenty of titanium, steel, and deuterium, I don't have the nickel, steel, and plasma to be unlocking these and train a bunch of warships, which presumably I will do in the next couple days. So if we look at the command center, or I guess the spaceport buildings, I will say there are other priorities I have here even that I would say are higher priority than going and unlocking other flavors of T10s, like my military headquarters. That is a top tier priority. For the resources, 800 leadership limit is insane. Yes, that is something I desperately want to upgrade. Also, the outfitting factory is something that will take time for me, and I think I will pass on this for a while. And the reason I say that is that if you watched my video about the efficiency of your outfitting, you know that going from 10 to 11 on an epic or legendary piece of gear is not going to be as good as having more pieces of gear at a lower level, but all kind of higher than you would have otherwise. In other words, you don't want to have a level 11 piece of gear and a level 5 epic. You'd rather have a bunch of level 9 epics. You see what I'm saying? So getting to the next level of the outfitting factory to have one higher level of outfitting is actually not on my priority list. No, even above that, I would say the flagship dock is pretty good. Being able to level up my flagships more will be a much higher priority for me. So I've got some higher priorities. I guess it's just primarily military headquarters and flagship dock. Above and beyond, pretty much everything else in here in a distant third is that outfitting factory. And maybe we'll put the dispatch center on that priority list because I think rally capacity could be relevant, maybe, in the upcoming, Neb versus Neb, maybe. But let's jump to the thing that you all love to watch, which is spinning the Syracuse Lucky Wheel. I went in earlier and I picked up a whole bunch of these cubes that I'm going to use. So let's just burn my way through them now, getting more of the Poseidon, which is a flagship I am very much working on and very, very interested in. Let's start to crack these open and talk about the thing I mentioned earlier, which is just how insanely overpowered farm accounts are in this game. And, I haven't made a farm account because I just genuinely do not have the time. But a farm account is insane. And this game is possibly the most generous I have ever played in terms of the value you can get from a farm account. Let me explain that. In Rise of Kingdoms, which I also play, you can transfer resources. And transferring resources is certainly nice. But the big difference in this game, even though you can't transfer the resources, you have to go and loot them, you plunder them from your own city, is that the blocker for progress in this game is typically not speed ups. It's actually just the resources. And resources you can farm infinitely. With enough farms, you could farm up a ton of resources very, very quickly. And then you go plunder the resources off of your own farms. So in other games, by the way, on this channel, I play a little bit of Lord of the Rings Rise to War. You will see that there's like really no effective farm account strategy at all. Not really. Like there's some stuff you can do, but not really. So having a farm account in this game is insanely powerful. And I would have been to T10s much faster than I actually got here if I had had a farm account. Because for so much of the time, my building queues are just empty. They're not doing anything. Both my building queues, my research queue, it's just empty. Not that there isn't stuff I need to research. Not that there isn't stuff I need to build. I just don't have the resources. So that resource bottleneck, rather than a speed up bottleneck with the ability to farm up endless resources on multiple farm accounts, is a very interesting combination. It took me about 10 months to get to T10s, but I think you could do it in a fraction of the time, even without spending, if you had sufficient farm accounts. I really want to preach the importance of farm accounts in this game. My God, man. So if that's something you're into, I think you can get a huge edge in the early game. And then in the late game, the reality is that it's about the flagships that you have. And that is why I am spinning the lucky wheel, in part because, I just pulled down 20 blueprints, and also the deuterium is resources, which I desperately need. I desperately need to keep doing what I'm doing. Now, in fairness, the deuterium and titanium steel, I actually don't need all that much compared to other things. It's the nickel steel, which I just pulled down, and also the plasma that are really the major bottleneck for me. And shipbuilding speedups are now going to be very nice. I have spent almost no shipbuilding speedups at all in the entirety of my time playing the game, because I have been waiting for T10s, literally. So I'm pretty hyped to finally capitalize and realize all that value straight into T10 warships, baby. Straight into T10 warships. Now, there's a part of me that does really want to have the different types of warships unlocked for T10 so that I can have like 3 fleets running around at a time. But with the way that the Galaxy Summit works now, you really only need the one. So I'm going to just focus on the one, which will give me a big improvement there. And I'm definitely hyped about that. Also, once I get to a better place with having, all the research done, all the buildings maxed out, I will finally switch my core module from being a farming build to being a pure warrior fighting build, which I am pretty hyped to get all those extra stats. I think that's going to be a pretty big deal. So what do we have here? The plasma, the deuterium, building speed ups, which, I mean, just throw them in for events to get some points. Legendary outfitting crates, kind of a big deal. The outfitting is, that's the sort of next front. The warships, I feel like, are pretty obtainable, certainly if you're spending. But then, man, the outfitting is... the outfitting will be the next sort of micro optimization, boosting those stats just a teeny bit more. And what I will say is also interesting about this game is that unlike other games where there is a sort of captain of a rally or a captain of a garrison, every flagship punches at its weight, every warship punches at its own weight. So you don't have like a captain of the whole fleet where the stats for the whole fleet and everybody in the rally or the garrison is the same as the captains, like in other games that I've played. By the way, that's a rainbow moment right over there. Almost. I'm missing the titanium steel, and then that would have been a resource rainbow pull. But I find that interesting, right? About your flagships and your warships not scaling up with whoever's launching the rally. And I mention that because, like, yeah, every single player should be focused on improving their flagships, their warships, and those micro optimizations on getting better outfitting matter for literally everyone. But this is a really good pull. Titanium steel, double on the nickel, and 10 more Poseidon blueprints. We smash that off and pull down another 40 Poseidon blueprints. Those are upgrades, by the way, that I will make not now, but during the Galaxy Star. I don't actually have a urgent need to make those upgrades, even though, I mean, obviously, I'd like to have the flagship leveled up more. I'm pretty into that. Here's another outfitting crate, which is a good pickup. And more blueprints. Sick, man. 20 blueprints and a legendary outfitting casing. I'll take it and continue on. I've got 25 more spins after this one, so 5 more 5 spots, and we'll see how we do here. All in all, I'm just doing the wheel these days to the tiered rewards, and then I stop. So I think it's like, what, 160 is the furthest you can go for the tiered rewards, and then I kind of cut it there. Even though, I mean, this is pretty decent turnout here. If I could use Corium instead of getting it from a bundle, then I would potentially do more spins because the value for the Corium would be pretty high in that instance. But for now, I think that the two main uses for Corium are, well, maybe 3. It's VIP shop, speed ups, and then resources, probably in that order. Let's get the final spins knocked out. Legendary crate is the jam. By the way, good morning. I'm drinking my tea. Hope you're having a good start to your day, or whenever you're watching this, if you're wrapping up your day, that it's been a good one. Here we go, baby. What? Oh, one more crack, and you know, the flagship experience ain't bad for someone like me, even though I spend my energy very aggressively in this game and make sure that I keep that low. I'm working on too many flagships all at once, man. So the flagship experience is pretty good. And as you saw, like, I haven't even maxed out the level of my flagships, right? Because I need to update my flagship doc. So I've got my work cut out for me there. There's more resources. I can't wait, by the way, to have a double level 60 legendary Artemis and also Titan combo. It's going to be nuts. There's 10 more blueprints. We got nickel steel. We got titanium steel. The crew training is very good. Smash this out. And we get flagship blueprints for the Poseidon and a resource crate. I dig it, and I'll keep going here. Cheers again. What do we got? 5 more of the Poseidon blueprints. 3 of the Poseidon blueprints. Have I even gotten a 10 spot? I'm not sure that I have. Here we go. All right. Cool. That's all right. 11 of the Poseidon blueprints. The building speed ups. I don't know how I'm going to use those. And nickel steel crates. And finally, we smash the button for today's video anyways. I'll be back to do more of this, possibly for a video tomorrow, to be determined what topic I'll be kind of looking into. Maybe I'll be going and kind of updating all my outfitting. I really need to update, like, all my outfitting. That's going to be a weird one, kind of transitioning between having two fleets that both need kinetic damage to, then eventually it'll just be one. I don't think I'm going to mess around with making tons of outfitting. I might just switch around what I have and then upgrade it. Final spin had plasma, flagship blueprints, 5 of them, crew training, the shipbuilding speeds, which is awesome, and the nickel steel crates. Awesome, man. This is a pretty solid spot to be in here. I will be working, as you can see, I've got my Artemis here up to 54 and my Titan to 51. I told you I need to level these up more. My outfitting is pretty solid, but this is all missile outfitting right now, right? So I probably dismantle these and go all in on legendary kinetic. And my kinetic gear, I mean, it ain't bad, right? It's a great starting point. My kinetic gear, okay, well, just kidding. I have a lot of work to do on my kinetic gear. Yikes. Yeah, I probably will go and try to replace all of these blues with legendary. I have a lot of blueprints saved up. I've been just kind of like waiting for this moment to go all in on a Galaxy Star when I actually have the T10s and I can go in on like the final form of what I want my outfitting to be. So I'm pretty hyped about that. It's going to involve some captain switches, perhaps, some crew changes. I got a lot to freaking do, and I'm enjoying playing this game and getting, I mean, look, I like to min-max and micro-optimize and all that crap, and there's plenty of that to do in Infinite Galaxy. So if you enjoyed this video, throw a like on here and consider subscribing if you haven't actually played Infinite Galaxy before. Congratulations on making it all the way to the end of a video about unlocking T10 units, but you can use the link in the description to go and download the game, which will support the channel. Thank you again to Infinite Galaxy for sponsoring this video, and until next time, you have fun smashing your enemies.